Have you been traveling a lot lately for work?
I was, man. I was the first so we travel off of like the academic calendar. So as soon as school started in August, I was like every single week I was in Chicago, then I was in Ames, then I went to Minneapolis, then I went to Milwaukee. I was in Milwaukee when Charlie died, and then I was home for like 6 days, and then I went to Arizona for about 11 days. And so then after that, I went to Minneapolis for our first event at the University of Minnesota. And since then, really no, like so many things are different now. So it's not like before he died, I had my entire like year planned out, like for work anyway. And after it's been like it's just been a lot different and we're kind of picking up the pieces. Like if somebody dies at like a car dealership, it's like next man up, like someone knows how to sell cars and be the top guy. It's so much different when it's like he did something that I didn't realize nobody else could do until then he died, and I'm like, damn. Because everyone's asking like, who's gonna step up? Who's gonna be the next Charlie? And I'm like, I don't know.
Never really gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who are really good at like the Second Amendment conversations or like abortion debates, and I'm like, but nobody could do all of it, and then also wrap in theology and talk about God at the same time. So it's like I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're like the numbers are better than ever. Unfortunately, I mean, it took this to get to this point, but like I'm we've been like up to our heads in work. It's been crazy, crazy busy, and I've been thankful to be able to be at home and work from home during this crazy time. But yeah, dude, it's been wild. It's been a wild time.
So what is Turning Point? I mean, I guess I'll be honest, like I had watched a lot of Charlie Kirk, just clips, right? Him debating people on campuses or whatever. What is Turning Point itself? Like what do they actually do?
Yeah, so that's how I got started too. Was watching clips in my house when I was going to NDSU. I just saw Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. I'm like, I like this guy.
It's hilarious.
And then yeah, then Candace Owens came to NDSU in 2022, and I went to that event, and I was like, I love this. I got to figure out what this is. So I googled Turning Point, and then fast forward now, I'm the regional manager and cover. I have 6 employees and cover a lot of states, all of the Midwest. And what Turning Point USA does is we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan grassroots organization. And then so we do like the groundwork to mobilize these students. And there's conservative students everywhere in the country. And sometimes they just need help organizing. And that's where we step in and we're like, okay, get you 2 of your buddies. Let's bring Rob Schneider to campus. And then a couple of weeks or months later, Rob Schneider comes to campus. And so we are like start to finish. We do everything for the events, the small events that you guys don't see because they don't blow up as much. And then like the events with Charlie that would go everywhere. Like there was just an event with JD Vance and Erica Kirk at Ole Miss like 3 weeks ago. And the Turning Point representative and manager, they like did the first hello to the school, and they're the connection between the school and Turning Point USA. And then we just bring it all together. So it's a lot. Like some days it feels like I don't even know what I do because there's so many different things. Like we just had somebody speak at the Texas Senate the other day to all the senators about like higher education issues that conservatives face. So like in last year I went to the Capitol and met a bunch of people once. So like none of that's in the job description, but it's just like random crazy opportunities that come up that we just jump on right away.
I mean, and it goes from high school and college.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, they built the high school program, which is now called Club America, and they're in high schools all over the country. And it used to be really really hard to get into high schools because it still kind of is because it's like you can't just I can just walk up to NDSU and talk to people. You can't just walk into a high school and be like, let's bring Charlie to your high school because it's a high school. You just can't do that. But now they're blowing up like um, the attorney general in Florida actually said that every high school in Florida has to make it so Turning Point can have a chapter there at every high school. So they're like those employees are covering like minimum like 100 high schools at a time now. When before Charlie died, it was probably like 30, and so it's insane. When I say we're busy, it's like we're really really busy.
I can't imagine. So, since he has died, you said the numbers have increased, which I think all of us could agree on that. Like, it's just been all over social media, but it's been hard to grow it like it was. Like, did it take a step back in a way?
Well, I've had a lot of people ask like if I'm worried about the regression, and I think about it a lot. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, there'll be a day throughout the week I'm sitting in my basement working in my office and I'm like, damn, maybe there's like less students interested today. And then I like the next moment I see 3,000 students at the Ducks versus Penn State game wearing white Freedom shirts, and then I'm like, maybe we're fine. And then just this Saturday at the UFC fight in New York, there was 3,000 shirts thrown out there, and students and fighters, and there was a fighter, Bo Nickel, who wore a shirt for Charlie, and I'm like, as soon as I had that in my mind, that I'm like, damn, how are we gonna keep this up? Something like that happens, or like we just had Rob Schneider speak at UC Berkeley in California, and there was like mobs and riots out there, and fireworks and fires, and people getting beat up everywhere. So I definitely have the thought of like, what if, what if we start to go back a little bit? But especially without Charlie, like, it's hard to tell what it looks like in a year or two. Like, we could hire twice the amount of employees next week, but then like in 2 years, are we gonna be like, damn, we hired too many people? So I don't know, but I think we're in a really good spot right now. And as far as regression, I haven't seen it yet, but you know, most good things come to an end. But I would say that this particular good thing has like 100, actually now like over 1 million students involved, and from high school to college. So like there is no lapse where we lose the students, I think now. And they're more motivated than ever, and things are looking up. So I guess we'll have to see. Ask me again in like a year, and we'll see what I say.
Sad that that's what it took to get it to grow, but I mean, I think I saw a stat where like church improved by like 40 or 50% just like in attendance alone after that happened. But
Yeah, I've had so many people who, and I mean myself kind of included, because growing up I was not super religious at all, and then getting into college I was making a bunch of bad decisions. I mean, you knew me throughout college. I was
we all
being I
were.
was being crazy, and it's like through Charlie I finally understood like the importance of talking to God and my faith, and then it makes me feel a lot of convictions knowing like he every day went out there and did that and then died for that. And then there's me sometimes, and like people I'm around, they're scared to even voice their opinions and talk about God in such a bold light when he literally died doing that. And I'm like, and I'm struggling to talk about it when my friends ask me. So like Charlie touched me politically, like he changed my political views, because I was pretty left leaning growing up too. My parents were super conservative, but I was like watching Ellen and Jimmy Kimmel all the time and thought it was hilarious. And now I understand, like they're just hating on Trump, and you can do that too. That's fine. But Charlie, more than like how he shaped my politics, is like how he taught me how to dive deeper into my faith and understand what I'm actually reading. And that's like the hardest thing for me to that he's gone now, is like I've seen the people who have grown in their faith, but it took him dying talking about his faith for now everyone's like, I'm here. But I've heard people say that if Charlie knew the outcome of what would happen, that he would sacrifice his life to see the amount of people who have started to go to church and the growth on college campuses. Like, this is the work that he started almost 14 years ago in his parents' garage. Like, the first Turning Point USA meeting ever was in his parents' garage with him and three of his friends. And then for his memorial, which was the last like official, well, the last massive Turning Point event, there was over, I mean, I got there at 5 in the morning and I was already going to be late because I saw 200,000 people in front of me. And even with my staff badge, I could not get to the front. Like, you know, if he was still alive and he saw the outcome, I think he would give his life for what has happened now. And a lot of people who knew him say that. So it's crazy, but you know, things are looking good still.
Yeah. So did you spend a lot? You said you were in Scottsdale for Arizona or whatever for 11 days. Obviously, that I'm assuming that was around the time all that played out.
He died on Wednesday, and then on Friday, our director was like, "What do you guys think of coming out to Arizona?" Because originally we were gonna take like 10 days off because we're like, we don't know what to do. Like, no one knows what to do, and we're gonna take all this time off. And then he was like, "What do you guys think of coming out here?" And all the managers, there's 9 of us, were like, "Yeah, like I would rather be out there like sweating, working my ass off than be in my basement sad by myself." So all of us, we flew out there. I think my flight was booked Sunday at like noon and it left at like 2. So I packed my shit really fast, drove to the airport, and I was gone for about 10 days. And yeah, so as soon as I got there, I think I got to headquarters at like 3 p.m. and there's like thousands of pictures and balloons and hearts and crosses everywhere, and I saw that right away. And then I don't think we left that night until like 2 a.m. And it was like just that over and over and over and over again, because it's like it's rare to get all of us together, but then also like in this circumstance when none of us know what's next, it was so good for us to be like, okay, what are we actually going to do now and have all of us together? And every single day, I would look outside on the balcony from the headquarters and look out, and there's like hundreds of people in front from like sun up to well after sundown. And there was a guy who he held a cross for like the entire day in the Arizona sun, like in just on a black pavement road in Phoenix, holding a cross for like 8 hours a day. And I think they took really good care of him. They got him water and food and everything he needed. But yeah, dude, he's an old man that I just saw holding a cross, and it was crazy. It was like every moment I was there didn't feel real, and it's just such a like out of body experience to be at his memorial too, and to be on the floor and see like Trump is up there with Joe Rogan, and then I saw um, Doug Burgum walk by, and I just waved and said hi, and Elon Musk is like 20 rows up walking around talking to people. Patrick Bet David's walking around like I don't know if you guys know who Kyle Rittenhouse is. He he's I was like handing out flyers and like handed one and I was like not paying attention because I was like a zombie at this point. And he walked up and took it and we started talking and I'm like, "Oh, you're Kyle Rittenhouse." And it was so funny. And that was the most random.
That's crazy. He's just out in the wild.
Yeah, he like no security, just walking by himself. And I like him, but he did kill somebody. So I'm like, you should probably walk with other people around you. He's innocent though. But
So being that you're inside Turning Point USA, how have you guys and all the staff and the managers, how have you guys handled all of like the crazy conspiracy theories and everything? Because I'm sure you've been down a rabbit hole yourself of like, it was this, it was that, he was pro-Israel, so he got killed for that, or maybe it was a loan.
I'm a pretty big conspiracy theorist. Like I love conspiracies, and like I mentioned, Candace Owens came to NDSU, and she's like the leader of the like this lone shooter didn't do it. She's like the leader of that movement right now. And I really, really like Candace. Like she got me into Turning Point with that event at NDSU. So it's kind of hard to see her now. And like, I don't know. Sometimes I have mixed feelings about it. But then today I just was talking to someone else about it, and I was like, if Candace actually had like every episode, she's like, I have this bombshell I'm dropping tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Then you go on and you got to go through like 4 ads to see it. And I'm like, if you were really loved Charlie as much as you say you did, I'm like, you shouldn't be behind all these paywalls, and I shouldn't have to go through all these ads for you to get to this big bombshell drop that you have. And then after the episode, she's like, you guys have to come back tomorrow. There's something big coming tomorrow. And I'm like, just say it. Like if one of my best friends died and I knew he didn't die how they said he died and there was some conspiracy behind it, I would not be like, come get it. Like, watch tomorrow. It's gonna be good. I would be like, they killed him. This is how they did it. He killed him. He killed him. And I know she's still like collecting evidence and stuff, but I don't know. I think that at times she's also inconsiderate to the people who are working in Turning Point. Like she had a video the other day that someone sent me a clip of, and she was like, all you Turning Point employees, like, don't email me with your Turning Point email. Use your personal email because they can track your emails. And I'm like, she's like trying to infiltrate like the company and trying to. I'm sure you guys know who Nick Fuentes is. Maybe he's like a super super far right like Nazi or yeah. I view him the same way I view like Andrew Tate. Like they're like clickbaiters. And like Candace is trying to get into I think like the minds of some of the employees and trying to like lure us out, then then call her and be like, this is what we know. This is what's going on. And I don't like that. But I will also say, like, I don't know like the official narrative. I don't even know what you'd call like the official narrative now because it's so split. And like if the official narrative is that Tyler Robinson shot him alone, I don't know. I really don't know. Like there's so many different angles to look at this, but I've seen a lot of things that I've seen the videos and I'm like, that's wrong immediately. Like I've seen videos talk about the guys standing behind Charlie who were like brushing their arm or tapping their shoulder. I know those guys. Like I've had conversations with his head of security. He's a great guy. The last time we talked, we were talking about because I travel a lot, but he travels with Charlie everywhere. So I'm like, I know he has kids. I'm like, how do you travel with kids? And then he gave me a great answer. Like he's a real person who Candace and other people are like, this guy did it, and they have no idea. And he's been around Charlie since Charlie started, and like so that shit really irritates me. And then people say Erica's involved. I don't believe that at all either. That's a little crazy. I'm like, they have 2 kids. They have a whole life together. And I'm like, I know people who love Alex Jones think that, the conspiracy has been going on for years, but I'm like, Erica is a good person. She's a good mother. She was a good wife. And like, but imagine the conspiracy going so deep. You have 2 children with this man, and then they're like, you did it. They still like it. That drives me nuts.
I've seen a lot of the like Erica grieving in the wrong way and how she's like it was part of her plan, and I was like, man, that's pretty far fetched.
But it's so like it's so popular now on and after Charlie died for the next like I don't even know how many days or weeks, like I couldn't even go on Facebook or Instagram because it was like it was killing me. Like seeing everything, it made me sick. And because there were so many people celebrating his death, and then the conspiracies got really big, and I felt like it was like too close to home for me to actually because I love conspiracies, but it was like if you talk about 9/11, I don't. There's something crazy happening there, but with like Charlie, it was too close to home for me to like actually dive into the conspiracies.
I think it's even crazy too. Like I don't have Twitter or anything, but I mean the amount of videos like just readily available of his assassination, like up close and personal, like that's crazy to me. Like I don't care if you're the most popular man in the world or you're the most hated man in the world, but like watching someone literally like die, I'm like, how are we so desensitized that like this is just getting sent around? Like this is just open. Like children are on TikTok and you just watch this guy get brutally murdered. And it is like you talking about seeing the conspiracies. And I mean, I'm not like this big, deep guy into Charlie Kirk, but like I just had seen clips or whatever. And even for me, I was like, this is horrible. Being actually inside and knowing him personally or whatever. It's like, that's just a whole nother depth of like, this is a terrible situation. I got to get off this thing.
Saw I saw the video one time, and well, when my director had called us, he called like an emergency team meeting, which he never ever does because he knows we're all traveling and we're all doing something. And then so he joined, and he was like, I could tell he was shooken up. And then he like looked in the camera and he was like, there was an incident in Utah Valley. And then he said, Charlie's been shot. And my initial thought was like somebody walked up to the front of, because, he'd be sitting there. Mike is here. Someone walked up with a pistol and shot him. And I'm like, he could survive that. Like it'd be very bad, but he can survive a shot from the pistol. And then like, everyone's instinct is to like the worst thing possible, which like I have to see it. And because you can't tell me that this horrible thing happened and no one, and I'm gonna be like, well, I just don't want to watch it because you had to. And I go on X and I was looking from the video that was a far angle, and I'm like looking up close. I'm like, I'm looking at the guy who's in the camera. He's gonna pull out a pistol and shoot him. And then I saw, as soon as I like, you hear the shot and you see his body, even from like a distance, you knew it like it was over. And I've been hunting pretty much all my life and shot many deer, and seeing that exact, like seeing his body, it was like the exact same way, like I picture, shooting a deer and, or even like an antelope when we killed an antelope, it was like everything was the same. It was like the same to me.
You hit it in the neck like that, it's done. Lights out.
I think a lot of people in the organization, well, maybe not a lot, but a decent amount of people were like, and rightfully so, like praying and, and I prayed too, but like looking at it, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And I almost didn't like that Fox News was reporting they were like, he's in critical condition. And it kind of like made me mad later because I went to the airport right away in Milwaukee to fly back, and I'm sitting in the corner. I got my hood up, my sunglasses on, and I'm just crying. And there's people like walking by, and I can hear them talking like, "Oh, did you see what happened to Charlie?" And then like I can hear, I like heard videos of people's phones like talking about Charlie, and it was on the news and stuff. And like I just couldn't. It was like I was trapped in this ball of it. And yeah, but all of them were like, he's in critical condition, like he might make it. And I'm like, there's no way.
I was gonna ask you that. I remember watching it. I was in a Target parking lot and I watched it, and all the news articles had said like he's in critical condition. They're trying to do like a blood transfusion. Like, was that true that doctors that you heard they were actually trying to keep him alive? Like I heard.
I don't know. I feel like, and I've heard a lot of like surgeons talk on the video, and they were like, he died instantly. But I also heard somebody say,
But you never got an official word from like, because obviously you said you knew like the head of security, like those guys were there with him, I'm assuming.
and we got an email that said like there was an incident and like to pray and that, they would update us. And then I probably knew he died like 10 minutes before the rest of the world, roughly. And everyone, because they sent out another internal email about like, he had officially passed away, and I remember I like hardly even read it because I saw like the headline, and I think it said something like he met his eternal reward, and is going to heaven, and I like couldn't even read it. Um, but yeah, the Fox News thing, I didn't really like it. I don't know if they tried a blood transfusion, but like I don't think it. Like I think he was dead before he got into the vehicle when they left. Um, just seeing the video, and yeah, it's interesting to hear everyone's like where they were at and what they were doing during it. It's kind of like our 9/11. Like I'll remember where I was at forever, and what I was doing. And the first person I called was my wife, and then I called my dad, and I was just like hysterical on the phone because it was like the actual worst case scenario ever could happen for work in my career, and it happened. And it's like there's just no response for something like that, and like no reaction. And you have family members die, and you kind of mentioned this. It's like the how public it was, why it like hurt so bad. I think like it was so public. Everybody that video is forever now, and like like his kids' classmates, they'll see it. Like I just couldn't imagine, and it's uh it's just so weird. Like even talking about it now, like it doesn't even feel real to an extent. Like I scroll my phone, and I'll see videos of Charlie, and sometimes I'm very, very, very quick to just skip them because it's just like a weird feeling, you know?
You don't even want to go there again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So you definitely talked about like, obviously just joking aside, you're like, ask me how Turning Point's doing in a year or whatever here. I mean, so like as a long-term plan for you, assuming Turning Point continues to grow, continues to stay, as relevant, probably more relevant than they've ever been. I mean, what's the next like 5-year plan look like for you, assuming all of that pans out?
The next 5 years for me I mean, if as long as it continues to grow how I think it's going to grow, I think that, I mean, there was a time where my boss was like, trying almost like wanted me and like was saying jokingly saying like you should move to Minneapolis because it's closer for airports. I'm in a bigger city. It's better for work. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like I cannot do that. I got to stay in Fargo. I love it here. And at that time I was like, damn, there could be a time where like if we don't blow up, like the market in Fargo could die down eventually because I'm far away from all the major cities. But now if things go down the trajectory I think they will, I think that in 5 years from now, like I'll continue to manage my team and now it's six, then it could be like, it could be eight, it could be nine. But I think that like North and South Dakota before Charlie died, there was like 7 colleges activated for Turning Point. Now there's 20. And even like Valley City State University is bringing 30 kids to every meeting. Like, and we don't have like the resources and the staff for all these kids. But in 5 years' time, my hope is like we have one person per state, like one representative per state. So I'll have one person in North Dakota, one person in South Dakota, and you know, I'll just continue to manage the Midwest. I mean, I don't really have like a plan after that. I very much am like just day by day. And I was on Fox News about 3 weeks ago, and they asked like what a turning point, like where turning point's going to be in 5 years. And I said that it's going to be like that. I think I said that college campuses are going to be the most conservative places in America within 5 years. And I I was on Fox News Digital, so it's like kind of a smaller thing. And they usually like if you go on the Fox News website and you scroll down and then you see it, it's like almost as an ad. And then the next day I was in Grand Forks doing stuff and I got a call and the Fox News had posted on their actual page on Facebook and Instagram and X. And my phone was blowing up. It was like overheating from everybody reaching out to me. And then they put it in bold letters and it was like Turning Point USA says college campuses are gonna be the most conservative place in 5 years.
They clickbaited you.
Yes, they did. They did. And I didn't even realize. I was like, what did I say that was that crazy? And then I read it in big bold letters on the screen. And I'm like, well, I'm like, yeah, like some people get mad. But when I do interviews like that, I get really nervous that, like the VP of Turning Point and the higher ups are going to be like pissed that I said something stupid. So that they loved it. And I'm like, oh, yes, I was so happy. Yeah.
It might be a dumb question, but like Turning Point has chapters in colleges. Is there like a left like chapter for the left?
It would just be like college Democrats, but The college Democrats and college Republicans, they are like the ones that traditionally are at head with each other. But Turning Point's nonpartisan and completely nonprofit. So we get funded from ways that these other people can't even imagine. Like the money in college Republicans and college Democrats is like nothing. It's like, so I've talked to a lot of kids while I was still going to college campuses every day when I was just a representative. And I'd say to them, I'm like, why are you in college Republicans? You guys get no help. You guys get no funding. Like the state of North Dakota, I love it, but they don't do anything for the college Republicans. And then like Turning Point USA, we will fly students out across the country for events. We will pay for students' hotels. We will give students amazing opportunities. I've had students at NDSU who got to have breakfast with Charlie. I had one at NDSU and K-State who got to be in Charlie's podcast. So like these are opportunities that, the college Republicans and college Democrats aren't even doing anything. They're just pretty idle right now. But no, there's really no other group. I don't really know.
You could just join but at any college, if you're a college kid out there, you can just join Turning Point USA chapter for free, no charge, and just get involved easily. There's no
and then we send you
process to
stuff. Yeah, we send you a bunch of free stuff. So if you went out to I think Mount Marty in South Dakota, and you were a student there and you wanted to get involved, you would just go to the Turning Point website, click get involved, and then we would get you connected to the representative in this area. Her name's Olivia. And we would send you Turning Point headquarters would send you a box of a bunch of free stuff just from getting involved.
Well, thanks for sharing your story of that side of it, man. That's it's kind of fun to hear, like I said, a little bit of an insider perspective on that.